Okay, so this will be a explanation on how to progress in the gym using the app EverFit and what I as a coach would expect to see as far as progression in the gym. So there is just as so we're clear, there is working out and then there is doing what is proper in the gym in order to see the progress that we want to see. So many people go in and they just do what is on the list and they count reps. We're not doing that. You will be counting, but we're going to have a different approach to things. Okay. So this is how we're going to do it. If you can see my screen here, this is what I see as your coach. On your app, it will look slightly different because it's a mobile version, but everything will be, all the information will be the same. So depending on the program, your needs, and what we've talked through, you'll have a certain number of days of training. Okay. Inside your app, when you look at it, it will say training for today. It'll say the name of it, or it'll say rest day. Boom. Easy. So you're always trying to look at your app on a daily basis, either the night before or the day of in the morning to make sure that you're on track with what you're doing. Most people are going to work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and possibly have an optional on Saturday. If you look here, here's an optional on Saturday. And then there'll be on Tuesday and Thursday, there'll be conditioning and mobility. Usually that's going for a walk and doing some stretching. That's it. Okay. But this is how it goes. So when we go to the gym, we don't just walk in and just start counting off things. All right. So there is a plan to this. So I want to walk you through how I would like to see things unfold for you. There's always a description. So read the description. It's roughly the same every time, depending on if the workout specifically needs something different. Otherwise, I don't update that. So you'll have a list of exercises that will go in order of priority or order of, the way that I think they should go. We usually start off with some type of core, which allows us to use that as a warm up as well. So one thing you always do is you always warm up before your exercises. That doesn't mean you have to go do 10 minutes on the treadmill. It means you just need to get your body moving enough. You can do that with the first exercise, which is usually a core exercise, or you can do it, which is my preferred method, is just to start with really light weight on whatever the first weighted exercise is. Start with really light weight on that and then slowly build yourself up over 2 or 3 sets of getting to a weight that works for you. Okay. So for instance, in this one, you would do hanging knee tucks. That means just hanging from the bar, tucking your knees up. This can be very difficult for some people. So there's almost always, not for everyone, but almost always a alternative exercise that you can select. When you press start session and you go to the specific exercise, there'll be a little twirl down, like a little arrow that points down next to the name of the exercise if it has alternatives that you can select from. For instance, a lot of people cannot do hanging knee tucks, so they'll do a feet elevated crunch. Very easy. Okay. So you would select the one that is appropriate for you at this time, and then you would stick with that one for the duration of this program. Okay. Because we want to make sure we're seeing progress. Selecting different ones each time just means you don't progress on any of them. You just get sore all over again and don't make any progression. Okay. So the way we look at this is many people understand, hey, I have to do 8 reps 3 times and I rest between those. So I have sets and I have reps and rest. Okay. Now I don't usually give single digits like, hey, do 10, do 15, because most people have no idea how many they can actually do. So they pick a weight that's too light or too heavy, but usually too light, and they just count off 10. And they think that in the mind, you think that there's some type of magic that happens between you doing this weight for this many reps. It's not. What actually happens is we have to make sure that we're going close enough to failure, technical failure, meaning like in this case, if you're doing hanging knee tucks or let's say feet elevated crunches, you're going until you can't do another really good one safely, or you're getting some type of limiting factor, like your hands are giving up, or you're getting a cramp, or the particular muscle you're working is burning so much that you can't deal with it. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to do your warm-up sets. Let's take this leg press, for example. You're going to do warm-up sets. You're going to put no weight on the leg press. You're going to make sure the leg press is set up properly. Make sure your feet are in the proper place. Watch the videos. Make sure you understand what's going on. And then you're going to start doing warm-up sets. Probably 2 or 3 warm-up sets. Legs take a little longer to do warm-ups because they are big muscles. Okay, smaller muscles take less warm-up sets. So what you're going to do is you're going to do, let's say you do a set with no weight on the sled. You're going to do, let's say, 10 to 12 reps. Perfect. Then you're going to put a little bit of weight on. Okay, and you're going to do a warm-up set and do about 8. See how that feels. If it feels pretty good, put a little more weight on. Okay, let's just put a little more weight on. And then you get to where this is starting to feel kind of heavy. And I bet if I tried to do more than 10 reps, it's going to be really hard. Okay, then that's probably a good weight to start with. So what you're going to do is once you're warmed up, whatever weight you picked, you are going to do between 10 and 20 reps. Okay, the way this rep range window works is the front number and the back number are indicators of whether you should take weight off or add weight. Okay, so, and we do not do ascending sets. We don't add weight each time. We make sure we pick a good weight at first, and then our first set should be our best set, and then all subsequent sets should see some form of decrease in performance. So for example, let's say you picked 100 pounds on your first set and you did your set until you could not do another good rep or 2 without a decrease in your technique. Like your technique is going to start falling apart or something's going to start getting wonky. Okay, let's say you did that and you got 15 reps. Okay, so you see that? 15. So what you did was you landed right in the middle of the rep range window, which means by the time your technique started failing, you were right in the right spot, right between 10 and 20. Perfect. So what most people will do at this case is they'll do the rest and then they'll start adding weight. We're not doing that. Okay? Because if you did the first set properly and if you did it hard enough, you sent the right signal for your body to grow, you should not be able to add weight and repeat that performance. Actually, if you did it properly, you should keep the same weight on and you should see a decrease in performance. So if you did it properly, you should be able to do 15 on the first one, let's say, and then you should not be able to get 15 on the next one. Let's say you get 13 before your form starts to fall or you start getting nervous about your technique. Boom, you did 13. So this is proper. Then you're going to rest and you're going to do the same weight again. Okay, you're not adding weight. Because if you did your warm-up properly, you should be selecting a good weight first. Okay, and then let's say your legs are toasted now and you only got 10 on the last one. Perfect. Okay, this is great. What you're going to do is you're going to log that in, and then each week when you come back to that particular exercise, you're going to look at this little swirly. This is your history button. It's going to tell you what you did last time. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to say, okay, let's say this is the following week on Monday. I did 100 pounds for 15, 13, and 10. My goal this week is to do 100 pounds for an extra 1 or 2 reps per set. So my goal would be 16 to 17 reps on the first one, 14 to 15 reps on the second one, and 11 or 12 reps on the third one. Okay. So what you're doing is you're progressing week to week with reps that are inside of the rep range window. And you're going to do that until on the first set, you're going to do that week after week until on the first set you can get 20 because that's the top of the range. Okay. So on the week that you can get 20, you're going to go up in weight by 5 to 10 pounds on the next set. Okay. And then you're going to start the progression all over again. Okay. So the top number, 20 in this case, tells you when to add weight. When you're able to get 20 on the first set, you add weight, either on the next set or the next week. Doesn't matter. Okay. If you add weight, let's say you got a little too aggressive and you added 20 pounds, and you were able to get on the next set, you were able to get, let's say, 11, but you know, if you try to do 120 again on the third set, you're going to get below 10. The first number will tell you you've added too much weight. It's when to take weight off. So if you know you're going to get below 10 on the next set, drop the weight. Okay? So this is what it tells you. So the next week, what you're going to probably end up doing is you're going to end up starting your first set next week with 110 pounds for as many as you can and land somewhere between 10 and 20. Then you're going to do 110 again and land somewhere between 10 and 20, hopefully seeing a decrease in performance from the first set. Okay. So each week we're adding reps. When we get to the top of the range, we add weight and we start the progression over again. Okay. A lot of people mess up on this point. When I see somebody put on 100 pounds and it says 10, 10, 10, it tells me that at least 2 of those sets were still warm-up sets, and you didn't actually start working until the last set. And that's not enough work to make your muscles grow. Each set counts, especially when we're not doing 5 or 6 sets of something. We're only doing 3, maybe 4 or 5 at times. So every set has to count. You do your warm-ups, then your first set is your best set, and then you see a decrease in performance subsequently after each set. And then from week to week, you're trying to add reps. And then when you get to the top of the rep range window, you add weight, a minimal amount. For legs, 5 to 10 pounds. For upper body, 5 pounds. That's it. And you start the progression over again. Okay. And then after 6 or 8 weeks of this, you have added 40, 50, 60 pounds to an exercise. And you have not made too many jumps. You haven't made big jumps. You've made small jumps, which decreases the chance of injury, helps us manage fatigue because you're not pushing too hard. And it also helps you get a win almost every week. Okay. It really doesn't feel good when you go in week after week and you make no progress because you're making too big of jumps in the weight. By adding 1 or 2 reps, you're almost always having a win. Okay. So you're going to do this week after week. You're going to make sure you have your history. You're going to know what you did last time, and you're going to make a choice on how do I progress this week? Am I adding reps, or do I need to add weight? Or do I need to decrease weight? Because last time I put way too much on and I wasn't even able to get the minimum number. Boom. Okay. It's not difficult. It takes practice. But if we do it properly from week to week, you'll see progress week after week. All right. Hopefully that explains and you understand. If you have issues or questions, please reach out to me directly and I'd be happy to jump on a call and explain this further.